Hey guys, it's Andy. Wanted to share a few minutes with you this evening. I'm actually in Bristol, Virginia at an accreditation conference. And law enforcement accreditation is something that I firmly believe in. And I wanted you to understand kind of why police and sheriff's offices get accredited. It's kind of like schools. The accreditation is a set of standards that are set forth by the state. They're regulated by committees, groups of pretty much volunteers that come in and inspect your police department. The standards are, kind of set in stone. This is what we do. This is why we do it. This is how we do it. And the accreditation process is documentation of that standard. For instance, if we say that we handcuff everyone that we put in our police cars behind them for officer safety, then we provide documentation not only that matches our policy, but also that we've complied with that standard. We show an instance of when we've arrested somebody and put their hands behind their back. So that can be done by officer notes. That can be done in the report. We could snap a photo. There are several ways to document it. But one of the things that I was challenged with when I moved to the administrative side of law enforcement was a better understanding of the accreditation process, a better understanding of the records administrator and how she deals with not only maintaining the police records, the confidentiality for adults and juveniles, but also FOIA, freedom of information. All those are things that we worry about on the administrative side of law enforcement. Today, I wanted to share a story. I met with a young man today that's a vendor at the conference that him and some friends saw a need, and it was storage lockers outside of courtrooms because his friend had gotten some kind of traffic ticket, had lost his driver's license, and was going to court over the summons or him losing his license, whatever the violation was. And this young man, he looked like he's probably 24 years old, gets up in front of, all these law enforcement professionals throughout the state of Virginia and says, we saw a need because my friend went to court. He walked in, and the deputy told him not only does he have to go through a metal detector to get into the courtroom, which absolutely should, but he can't take his cell phone in a courtroom, which is common. That pretty much anywhere anymore, you can't take your cell phone in a courtroom. So remember, he got dropped off at court, so he didn't have anybody outside waiting on him. He didn't have his car outside. So he asked the deputy, he said, what am I supposed to do with my cell phone? And he said, well, I don't care what you do with it. You just can't bring it in the courtroom. So, of course, he goes outside. He finds a bush. He hides the cell phone in the bush. Needless to say, after court, he goes back to get the cell phone. Cell phone's gone. So these two gentlemen, instead of, feeding off the negativity of that, he said it was, a new iPhone, like a lot of people have that are extremely expensive. He said we saw a need that there was nowhere to store the cell phone. So they created this company to manufacture small lockers to set outside of courtrooms for just that kind of purpose. A lot of courtrooms don't let you take in backpacks or women's purses or, some keys. If they find a pocket knife, a lot of men carry a pocket knife. They have to go do something with it. They can't take it with them. So these young men, he gets up and he tells about this business that they've started. Their ground floor, they've sold their product to a few sheriff's offices in the state of Virginia, and they come to these conferences and try to demonstrate their product and show the need. And what I was interested in, spending some time with him on a break, was the entrepreneurial aspect of how did you get started? You saw the need, but then what? We had a fantastic conversation. A very bright young man. He works full-time for the Postal Service. He does this on the side. He said he works the night shift at a sorting center for the Postal Service. But he says, he feels like this is such a need across the state. The hard part is having sheriff's office or courtroom, funds directed toward these lockers. Well, that goes back to serving the community, and that's what we do as law enforcement officers. We serve our community, and it's a critical part of what we do. Do we have to provide a locker like that? No. How many times a day do you think a deputy sees somebody come in with their cell phone, and then they have to take it right back outside, and hopefully they've got a car to lock it in, or a friend outside, or somebody that's waiting on them? If not, they hide it in a bush. And, I really respect this young man for taking the initiative to say, this is a need. This is a way we can help law enforcement. This is a way that you can serve the community by buying these lockers. And he said they've been through several manufacturers, tweaking. They would do test models and, take them places to courtrooms, say, hey, try them out. They would get some feedback. They would apply the feedback. They've gone through several vendors trying to make the best product they can. But I was really inspired just by that encounter, by hearing his story and seeing the ambition on his face when he was up in front of people at this accreditation conference. Now, will he get sales from this conference? I don't know. I hope so. I know I'll go back to our sheriff's office and say, this is something you should really consider. It's not like they're overly expensive. It's just something that we don't have to provide, that we could, to give that extra little touch to our community. Would our community appreciate that? I guarantee they would. They really would. And so that was the message that I wanted to share this evening about, seeing the need and acting on it. I'm sure he's encountered some roadblocks. I got his card, and I really plan to keep up with him to see how it's going, because it's inspiring to meet young people like that who, are not just sitting in college, not wondering what they're going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to spend my money on a degree. Well, this guy's, he's an entrepreneur, and that's impressive. So that's the message I want to share with you tonight. It meant a lot to me, and I thought maybe you'd appreciate it too. Have a good evening.